Historical Society on BCTV is supported in part by the Highlands at Wyomissing.
Hello and welcome to the monthly program of the Historical Society of Berks County. My name is Joshua Blay and I'm sitting in for your regular host and producer George M. Miser IX, President of the Historical Society and publisher of the Historical Review of Berks County. George is at home recovering from surgery, and all of us at the Historical Society wish him a speedy recovery. While tonight's program is being broadcast live, it repeats this coming Friday at 10 o'clock p.m., this Saturday at 6 p.m., this Sunday morning at 9 a.m., and if you're up late or you can't sleep or you're an insomniac, it is also repeated many times during late night throughout the month. You can also view our TV show on the internet at any time by going to our website, www.berkshistory.org, and click on the Multimedia tab. And for those of you who don't have the time to sit down and watch the show at your computer, you can also download a podcast of the show to play on your iPod. Seated beside me this evening, on my left, is my co-host for the evening, Kimberly Richards, Director of the Library and Archives. And we also have two special guests this evening to my right. Our first guest is Jim Lewis from the Daniel Boone Homestead, and to his right is Carol Toomey from Rainbow Theater. Welcome all to our April 1st, 2009 No Fooling program.
We would just like to remind everybody that the Library, Museum, and Gift Shop are open Tuesday through Saturday from 9 to 4. And if you're looking for a unique gift for that special someone, our gift shop is fully stocked with books from Reading and Berks County by many authors. And we also boast one of the largest inventories of pottery, artwork, and other craft items.
Also, if you're not a member of the Historical Society of Berks County, we would love to have you become one. And you can see by the program how much fun we have, and we sure love you to join us for as little as $40 a year for individual membership. Membership in the Historical Society includes our prize-winning quarterly magazine, the Historical Review of Berks County, which has been published continually since 1935. By the way, if you're a collector of the review, or if you like looking for some old historical articles, we have a very comprehensive index online if you go through the, again, the www.berkshistory.org website and going through the library website. Other membership benefits include our newsletter, the Members Update, which keeps you abreast of upcoming events of the Historical Society, and unlimited use of the museum and library. For $50, you can purchase a family membership for all of you living in the same household.
We would also like you to consider becoming a volunteer. We have a number of opportunities, whether it's in the education department, the library, or the museum collections. We're always looking for help, and we have lots of things to do. And while we're on the subject of memberships, we remind you that Berks Community Television, BCTV, is now observing its 31st anniversary. And this is a survivor in a tough venue and a unique entity in that it's interactive, and you are encouraged to call in with questions and comments. And why not salute BCTV for all the great shows it provides to Reading and Berks, and send a check for $30 for a year's membership. Mail your check to BCTV, 645 Penn Street, Reading, PA 19601. Remember, time passes, but operating expenses never go away.
We'll be covering some of our trivia questions and talking about some local upcoming events. The phone number, if you'd like to call with any questions or comments, is 610-378-0426. Since today is April 1st, we have our upcoming First Saturday program this coming Saturday to talk about. This coming Saturday's program will be highlights of Civil War medicine, the medical men and women who served. This is a program that's going to be highlighting some of the courageous men and women who served on the medical front during the Civil War, including the surgeons, the nurses, the stewards, and the hospitals. And also, this is going to focus on both sides of the Civil War, the Union as well as the Confederate side. The program will be presented by Leslie Wood, who's an adjunct professor and an adult instructor, and she's also a Civil War medical reenactor. Also, at the same time, if you want to make a note in your calendar, the TV show won't be occurring before the May 2nd First Saturday program, so this is our May 2nd program. Heinrich Janssen will be talking about the Landis Store Nature Friends Camp of District Township. Mr. Janssen was born near Landis Store, and he's the son of German immigrants. Heinrich was in just the other day actually reviewing some of the slideshow, and he has some wonderful photographs and some wonderful history put together The Nature Friends, I believe, saw its origins in Europe as a result of the industrialization of European cities, sort of an effort to get outside the cities and get back to natural life. And they formed a camp. They've had camps all over the country. This one up in District Township was more for Philadelphia suburbs, but they also had camps, like I said, throughout the country. There are a few camps that are still in the United States, including some in California that are pretty well known. And some of the buildings are actually still there from the Landis-Store Nature Friends camp. Anybody familiar with the area, the District Township Municipal Building is actually an original Nature Friends camp building. For the first Saturdays, they start at 10 o'clock. We usually serve a light continental breakfast at 9:30. We do ask a little money to cover the breakfast. It's $1 for members and $2 for non-members, and there's plenty of ample parking. But Saturday at 10 o'clock is when the programs start. Little note here as well, in recognition of the upcoming Easter holiday, the Historical Society Museum and Library will be closed the Saturday before Easter, the 11th. However, we are going to be having an open house at the Hendel House. Our education curator, Vicki Hefner, and one of our board members put together an Easter egg tree celebrating this local Pennsylvania German Easter tradition. It's an 8-foot tree, and it's decorated, I forget how many, 100?
200.
About 200 Easter eggs of all sorts of different decoration. Enough of my yapping. Let's get to our first special guest on the show this evening. Carol Toomey is here from Rainbow Theater to talk about an upcoming event at the Hendel. I believe it's for 6 years running now, as I understand it. And Carol Toomey works with our education, Vicki Hefner, to put the show on. Take it away, Carol.
Okay, well, this truly has been a project that's been going on for several years, and it's become just a really fun project for the Historical Society and Rainbow Theater. And what we're doing this year is we are doing a program entitled Everybody's Birthday Party. So this is going to be a special treat for someone who's celebrating a birthday. So you're invited to come if it's your birthday. And if it's not your birthday, we want you to come also because it's everybody's birthday party.
What if your birthday was in March?
You can come because if no one's birthday is in April, we'll celebrate yours. Okay? But anyway, the actual performances and the event are scheduled for April 24th, 25th, and 26th. On Friday, April 24th, we start at 7 p.m., April 25th at 1 o'clock and 3:30 p.m., and on Sunday, April 26th at 2 o'clock. Now, this event is appropriate for children 5 years of age and older, and obviously, if you are planning to attend and buying tickets for your 5-year-old, we certainly do say that they must be accompanied by an adult. So the tickets are $12 each and they must be reserved because everybody has a special seat at the birthday tables, and the tickets are $12 each and you must reserve. Now you can reserve either by calling the society, and the Historical Society's number is 610-375-4375. And Vicki Hefner, who is the education curator at the Historical Society, will be happy to take your reservations. There's also some information that you can receive from her by online with the web address of education@berkshistory.org. And if you would like more information, you can certainly call the Society and they'll connect you with Vicki Hefner, and you can reserve your tickets. So you'll have to know exactly what day you want to come. But like I said, this party is great for children 5 years and older, and especially if they're having a birthday, or even if they're not, it's going to be fun because Rainbow Theater has prepared a program. We have 9 child actors, or student actors, that range in age from 8 to about 15 years of age, and they will be doing the program called Everybody's Birthday Party, which celebrates birthdays and talks about good behavior and tells you the story of a little princess that was very unhappy because nothing could satisfy her on her birthday, and she learned through experience what was really important in life, and finally she's happy for her birthday. So that's our program, and of course after the little play we will be serving refreshments, and of course everybody gets the birthday cupcake and a little birthday surprise. And also available that afternoon, Pamela Buzan from Miniature Corner 2 will be selling assorted teapots and porcelain teacups and things such as that, which are all sizes, but appropriate for dolls, like for American Girls or the Madame Alexander dolls. And most of the porcelain has been manufactured in Germany, so that's another opportunity. But it's a really exciting event for Rainbow Theater and the Historical Society. And this is our 6th presentation, and in the past we've done things that had to do with the American Girl dolls and the historical significance of each of those dolls. And we've done fairy tales like Snow White and Pied Piper. So this one is kind of a different event, but it certainly sounds like fun because it's everybody's birthday party, so everybody gets involved. And we will have a little bit of audience participation. So
I was just reviewing the history of all the Rainbow Theater productions down in Hendel. I didn't realize how popular they've become. They've been selling out and adding extra shows, and that's amazing. So if you want to come to everybody's birthday party, even if you don't have a birthday, come and make your reservation very soon. Otherwise, you might miss out.
Right, that's right.
And I remember the one was the last one was on World War II, or was that?
That was 2 years ago.
2 years ago. I remember that one. That was a really good episode. They had a bunch of great kids that do a really good job.
Right, we do, and they're excited, and we're excited to work with the Historical Society, and it's always just a fun time and very worthwhile.
I only have one question. How many trick candles do you have to buy?
Trick candles?
For the birthday.
Oh, well, I don't think in the historical Hendel House where, I don't know if I maybe not have mentioned that, but it is in the historic Hendel House. I don't think we're going to light fires.
That's true. We're not allowed. I always wondered if, since they make the modern electronic candles, they should almost make a new electronic candle sensitive to feel if somebody's trying to blow it out.
Right.
So it
well, I know that they do have them that flicker, but I don't think you can blow them out yet.
No. Well, thank you very much, Carol. I appreciate it very much. Last episode, we had a little trivia session called Do You Know?
You know.
We like to provide some answers. Go over that. Let's switch to the laptop here. We have some, let's review our questions from last time, then we'll have some new questions coming up here. We'll get into Ms. Richards' section of the program. This first group of 4 images was actually cadet training at the Reading Army Airfield right off 183 there, today known as the Reading Airport or Spots Field as it was renamed. The training was very comprehensive, and it's amazing. Nobody probably quite realizes what they went through over there at the Reading Airfield to train. The fourth, or should I say 5th image here, this was the POW camp. So you can see the rectangular huts at the bottom of the screen. They stationed Italian prisoners over at the airport during World War II. So that was the answer to that question. And then, of course, I think we had a correct caller for the chapel here at the Reading Airfield. You can also see the Army truck on the right-hand side there. As I understand it, that building is no longer there. But somebody did recognize it indeed, so we're very happy about that. And I'm going to turn the program over to Kim Richards.
I had 2 trivia questions. They all dealt with the Bergsheim collection. My 2 questions were how many meals they served on December 25th, 1873, and they actually served 78. Couple of people that have been guessing are guessing extremely high. And then for the entire month of December, they served 2,865 meals. So that's December of 1873.
Did they get turkey or ham?
I don't know.
Maybe lemon and bologna?
Whatever was there. On that note, we have, I did promise that the Bergsheim collection would be available at the end of the month. It is now April 1st, and it is very much available. The collection basically entails 184 ledgers and a box full of miscellaneous documents. They were just kind of inserted in between the ledger pages. We did have our first official researcher in looking at the Berksheim collection. She was very pleased with the information she found. She went through about 9 ledger books, including the admission books, the nursing books, the death records, and the inventory books. All she knew was she knew a woman's name and knew that the woman died in 1863 and had roughly been at Berksheim for 30 years, and she was able to find the admission information and some biographical information. So currently the Berksheim collection is not indexed. So if you know somebody who was there and you're looking for information and have a rough idea of the year, you might be able to track down that information. If you don't, it's basically going to be like looking for a needle in a haystack.
Or a stack of needles.
Or a stack of needles until we're able to get that done. Just be aware that with 184 ledgers, it's going to take a while.
What's the time period again that the collection covers?
The collection covers, we think that we found the first minute book from their very first board meeting, which would be April 14th, 1824. And then the oldest book, which I showed last month, was 1833. So we think the collection spans somewhere around 1824 to about 1970s, roughly.
Okay.
So it's a pretty good time there.
You could probably do your thesis on indexing the collection, too.
Which will have to be done on the computer, because we would need an entire card catalog to hold that type of information. One of the projects that we have worked on in the archive, we just sent out and just actually got back our top shines. We sent out roughly, I believe, 500 and I want to say 70-some top shines. These are what the digital images look like. Top shines, for those of you who don't know, which I didn't know because I'm new, are birth and baptismal certificates. They're brought here from Europe, and they're considered official documents, more or less, because they are a certificate of birth. They were so important that many immigrants actually wrote back to their home villages or ministers or in-laws to have their top shines sent over. Top shines will, like this one, includes information on the child's parents, when they were born, when they were baptized, the reverend who baptized them, what township they're from. Many times it contains the artist information, and our top shines tend to be either in English or German. We have 2 types of top shines. This is one of them. There's full artistic top shines, which are like this one, where you can see most of it is hand painted. Some of them even go so far as all the information inside is handwritten. And then we have printed ones, which would be the next one. These you could actually, they were pre-printed and you would fill in the information. If
you look down the bottom of the middle, it says right here Reading, but you can't read the fine print. But a lot of these are actually printed in Reading, including some by the Reading Eagle, I believe.
Yep, the Reading, or it was the Eagle bookstore printed some of them, and then Johann Ritter and Company were another big printer in Reading. What we did bring to show you these, because technically the top shines are not available to the public because of their significance. I did bring them so that you could see, actually compare them of how they look compared to the digital images. So this is the very first one. And you can see that, you know, it's a really neat document. I also have it crooked. Sorry, and it's falling down. But if you want to head back to the digital image,
this one, yep.
You can see how clear and how clear the image is. The second one that I have,
that's the original scan on your TV here, and here's the paper original right here.
And you can see that the scanned images are, they're well done and they're very clear. This one just happens to be for Anna Maria Conrad. She was born November 2nd, 1793.
The thing about the scan is you can see how faded the lettering gets. At least with the scan, you'll never have to worry about the lettering.
Right, and that's the benefit of having older documents scanned, because the older documents get, the inks tend to fade, and when the inks fade, they fade into oblivion, and then you lose the information.
I didn't even realize it, but with fabrics as well as paper, some of the old inks, where they were oxide-based, the paper or the fabric will literally rust out. So that's another thing you don't have to worry about when you get them scanned in the computer.
I'm going to grab another one quickly. This is one of the printed ones. Now I don't think they were colored.
They were hand-colored, I believe.
Yeah, after they were purchased or before.
Some of them have varying degrees of hand coloring. Some people did a lot. Some people really didn't do much at all.
Yeah.
It's amazing how colorful they still are.
Can show them the digital image.
A lot of them are in German script, and as Kim knows, and as our guest Jim Lewers, it can be
Yeah, because there's all the script varies. We do have some cheat sheets in the archive that allows us to figure out the lettering. This is actually one, and I'm glad that I pulled this one. It's actually in English, so it's the easier of the three that I brought to read.
in the Center Township in Berks County.
So these are, we just accepted a new collection that brought our entire Top Shine collection up to about 592. Those came after we sent them out to be digitized, but we're always looking for more because they're great genealogical reference.
Great. Thank you very much, Kim.
You're welcome.
Our second and final special guest of the evening is Mr. Jim Lewers. He's a Berks County native and also a bachelor's and a master's graduate from Penn State. And he's worked at state historic sites in 75, including manager and administrator of the Conrad Weiser Homestead, Ephrata Cloister, and Daniel Boone Homestead, having served there as administrator of Boone since 1984. He's researched and spoken about many different aspects of colonial Pennsylvania, including Pennsylvania German architecture of the colonial period. And he's here to talk about some upcoming events at Daniel Boone and also some anniversaries coming up and some collaborative efforts this fall. Welcome to the show, Jim.
All right. Thank you, Josh.
My pleasure.
Pleasure to be here.
My pleasure.
So I guess it's my turn.
Yep.
2009 is really kind of a fascinating year because there are a number of anniversaries that just happen to fall on this year. A few that deal with the history relating to the Daniel Boone Homestead, and a couple which actually relate to the operation of the homestead as an historic site, which are very important. Just kind of interesting the way everything kind of fell together.
It's interesting when you're celebrating the homestead itself, the operation, versus the actual history itself. Which
exactly.
The museum was set up, the site was set up to begin with.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, the biggest anniversary really is the birth of Daniel Boone, who was born on site on November 2nd, 1734. So. If you do the math, it comes out to 275 years next November. And I should point out that today we kind of mark the anniversary of his birth on November 2nd, 1734. However, Daniel Boone did not use November 2nd as his birth date anniversary. He used October 22nd. And you will see October 22nd, 1734 listed in a number of different references for his birth. So the question is, here's the trivia question, which is correct, November 2nd or October 22nd?
We should have our viewers call in with the answer.
Well, it's a trick answer. I'm going to give you the answer, all right? The answer is that they're both correct.
Oh.
Now, how can that be?
It's the calendar.
Change of the calendar,
yeah.
Yes. When the day that Daniel Boone...
say that's not all the leap years, I don't think.
No. No. Leap year had something to do with the change in the calendar, but we won't get into that. But the day when Daniel Boone was born, the day that he was born was called October 22nd. The British Empire was still utilizing the old-style calendar, or the Julian calendar. Virtually everybody else, by the way, in Europe was already switched to the Gregorian calendar. But 1752, the British Empire changed the calendar to the new-style calendar, or the Gregorian calendar, which we use today. The difference in the two calendars was 11 days. And so, we generally adjust those dates. And so October 22nd is adjusted to November 2. So November 2 is really the anniversary of his birth, though again, Boone himself didn't like the new calendar, and throughout his life continued to use October 22nd as his birthday.
So did he lose 11 days or gain 11 days?
Well, that's a good question. Actually, I think that a subject of a really interesting historic novel might be the missing 11 days of the calendar, because and you know I don't have all this information. I believe the calendar went from September 1st to September 12th, 1752. So they actually skipped 11 days.
Wow.
And yeah, so you have to understand that, you know, for instance, if you were, you know, Conrad Weiser, as an example, was born November 2nd, 1696. And when he was born in Württemberg, Germany, since that kingdom had already made the change, November 2nd is the date that we use today, and that is the anniversary of the New Style. He was born New Style calendar. When he came to you know, the British colonies, suddenly, you know, he was celebrating on a different day. At any rate, it's somewhat complex, but November 1734 is the year, and November 2nd is the anniversary.
Okay.
We are actually going to be marking the day on Sunday, November 1st. We'll be doing some programs on site. Not too many people come and visit us on Mondays because we're closed on Mondays, but at any rate. What's really important to remember is the year, 1734. You know, many people confuse Daniel Boone with Davy Crockett, largely because Fess Parker played both roles, included, you know, and there's a lot of popular history relating to that. Fess Parker, by the way, wore the same costume for both roles, Davy Crockett and Davy Boone.
The coonskin cap.
Right, and both costumes were equally inappropriate for both characters. But at any rate, people do confuse the two personages in history, but it's important to understand that about a half a century separated the two figures in history. Daniel Boone, born in 1734, was only 2 years after George Washington was born in Virginia. And so when you think of Boone, think of that earlier generation, think of the Washington's generation. Of course, Boone lived to the year 1820, so he was actually only a month shy of his 86th birthday when he died in Missouri. Lived a very interesting life. And of course, Boone spent his boyhood years here in what is now Berks County, at the homestead. And when he was about 15 and a half years old, his family migrated to North Carolina. And later, as an adult in the 1770s and 1780s, he was a pivotal figure in the settlement of the Trans-Appalachian area, now known as Kentucky. And it was a very important figure in the settlement of Kentucky. And, you know, it's interesting that when he went into Kentucky, you know, he wasn't the only Pennsylvanian. Many other people from Berks and southeastern Pennsylvania had migrated down through the Shenandoah Valley into Virginia and North Carolina, and have connections with Kentucky. Now, another interesting anniversary, which we're going to deal with this year, actually sort of relates to that migration, and it relates to Kentucky, and that is the birth date of President Abraham Lincoln, 1809. And we're not going to do a lot of programs on site relating to that, but it's important to note that this is the 200th anniversary of the birth of Abraham Lincoln.
Yep, just 2 months ago now.
Right.
Yep,
and
February 2009.
Of course, he was born in Kentucky, and you know, his father settled Kentucky, followed Boone into Kentucky. But of course, the other interesting thing is that the Boones and Lincolns interacted right here in Exeter Township. Abraham Lincoln's great-grandfather,
Mordecai.
Yeah, actually, great-great-grandfather Mordecai, and then Mordecai's son was the Lincoln who went down to, I think it was Thomas Lincoln, down to Virginia. But Boones and Lincolns certainly knew each other in Exeter Township, interacted. One of Daniel Boone's cousins, Ann Boone, married and another Abraham Lincoln. And Boones and Lincolns intermarried and what have you. And part of the Lincoln family also migrated south, part of that southern migration. And of course, you know, Abraham Lincoln then born in Kentucky and born in a place that Daniel Boone, of course, helped to settle. That's another interesting anniversary. Another interesting anniversary is that 2009 is the 250th anniversary of the construction of the present Exeter Friends Meeting building. And the Boones, of course, were Quakers and attended Exeter Friends Meeting. There was the present building, for those of you who are familiar with the building, is a stone meeting house, really great building, a really pristine 18th century Quaker Meeting House, still an active meeting. Boone's attended there. Danny Boone's family would have attended, but would have been familiar with a building that would have predated the present stone building. But nonetheless, the present building is a great structure. This is the 250th anniversary of the building of that structure, and we are working with members of the Exeter Friends Meeting to help them celebrate. And it looks like probably the first Saturday in October. There'll be some public activities at both at Boone and also the Exeter Friends Meeting to mark that anniversary.
I just passed through there the other day. What's the actual distance between Daniel Boone Homestead, the actual house itself, and Exeter? Is there pretty?
It's about a mile.
About a mile, yeah.
A little more than a mile. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
yep.
so they're pretty close.
Very close, yes, indeed. And the Exeter Friends Meeting was built on land previously owned by one of Danny Boone's uncles, an Uncle George. And the Boones were very important members of the meeting in the 18th century. From the standpoint of the history of the operation of the site, I should note a couple anniversaries. 2009 is the 50th anniversary of the building of our present visitor center. And our visitor center is pretty small for our needs, and we're hanging in there with it. Anybody who's ever been to my office knows that it's sort of overflowing with things, and we really do need an addition. And it appears that this year, the 50th anniversary of the building of our present visitor center, we will be adding on to the building. It looks like bids will be going out pretty soon for an expansion of the building, which is really going to help us a great deal and help us really serve the public better.
Will about double the size of the present building?
Almost. It'll almost double it. Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. It's also 2009 is also, interestingly enough, the 20th anniversary of the formation of a very, very important organization, which is the Friends of the Danny Boone Homestead, and they are our community support organization. They're a nonprofit corporation. They have their own board of directors. They're basically the membership wing of the Danny Boone Homestead. If you want to join the Historical Society, obviously you can join the Historical Society. Not too many people want to join the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and the Danny Boone Homestead is a Pennsylvania State Historic Site.
Administered through the PHMC.
Correct.
Yep.
And we're administered by an agency of state government, the Pennsylvania Historical and Museum Commission.
That's right.
But you can join the Friends of the Danny Boone Homestead with all the benefits of a membership of a regular museum. And the Friends are a really critical organization. They help us raise lots of money for the site. They help us channel volunteers to the site. And, I'm going to talk about some of the programs, public programs. We wouldn't be able to do any of these public programs without the Friends. And they are very important. And you can join the Friends of the Danny Boone Homestead, and membership gives you free admission to the site all year round and a lot of other things as well. But the Friends are very important. And really, the interaction of the Friends and the state is really, I think, a model for public-private cooperation. And it's a great way that we can operate the state facility a lot more efficiently than if we didn't have the Friends. They're very critical.
There are a number of museums that could honestly not survive without that similar cooperation, either from small to larger institutions.
Yes,
so
indeed.
It certainly is invaluable. It just can't be measured. It really can't.
Yep. We typically have many special events which we sponsor, which the Friends sponsor at the site over the course of a year, and I'll run over a few of them, and I don't know how our time is, but
sure,
we'll run through them.
Then we got to get to our
absolutely. Coming up in April 26th, Sheep and Wool Day, and we're going to be shearing our sheep and doing a number of programs relating to spinning and weaving. Danny Boone's father was a weaver by trade, and so that's an important event. Come see our sheep shorn. And we do have our own livestock on site.
Sounds like a tongue twister.
It is. May 3rd, a very popular event, Children's Day. A lot of hands-on activities for elementary school-aged children, noon to 5. A lot of great activities. We do a lot of hands-on programs for school children, and this is an opportunity for families to come with their children and take part in many of the activities which we do for school groups during the course of the week. We mentioned that we do a lot of cooperative programming. One of the things we're going to be doing this year is we're going to be running a couple bus tours of the Ole Valley, working with the Historic Preservation Trust of Berks County. And May 30th is our first tour of the Ole Valley. By the way,
is that an annual event for you, or
no, that we have done bus tours through the Ole Valley on a limited basis. We're going to do 2 this year, and we'd like to be able to get into this on a more of a regular basis.
Okay.
Through the summer, a lot of activities. Evening on the Green, June 20th, the July 4th program. We have a number of summer camps which run in July and early August for school children, for school-aged children. In July and August, we have weekly programs. Each Tuesday, we run our water-powered sawmill, the Bertolet sawmill, which was the photograph of which was included in the last passing scene.
Yep.
Great early photograph, but this is one of only 3 water-powered mills in North America operating.
Sawmills or any kind of mill?
Water-powered up and down sash saws.
Okay.
There's one at Mackinac Island, Michigan. There's one at Old Sturbridge Village, and there's ours, which of course comes from the Ole Valley.
I was there for an event in the past couple of years, and I saw the sawmill in operation. I didn't realize how noisy it could be.
Yeah.
When you open up the dam there,
Yeah.
everything just starts gushing out, and it's amazing. You almost feel like the building's going to vibrate off its foundation.
Very, very dynamic demonstration. So every Tuesday in July and August, we run the sawmill. Every Sunday in July and August, we do some type of living history event on Sunday afternoons. We get into October, usually very, very busy time, and our big living history event in the year is Heritage Day, October 18th. And I've been working with the Historical Society. We might be able to do something special this year.
Certainly.
Around the time of year. Do you want to say a little bit about what we might be doing,
I'd
Josh?
be happy to. This is breaking news, almost, on the TV show here. Last month, Simon Bertolet, our executive director, was talking about renovations to the former Palmer Library located in our main building at 940 Center Avenue when the library moved across the street to the new Janssen Library. But the main research area, the former Palmer Library, is going to become a new gallery for exhibits, short-term exhibits, or rotating stuff through the collection. But we're very happy to announce our premier exhibit. We're planning on working on a long rifle exhibit in collaboration with the 270th anniversary of the birthday that Mr. Lewis was just talking about. It's going to be the first of its kind. It's going to be a 3 to 4 month long display, probably, of Berks County firearms, accoutrements, and gun-making tools at the museum in Reading this fall. We're planning on about 40-plus rifles from the Golden Age, 1776 to 1825, American arms making, as well as other accoutrements as powder horns, hunting bags, gun barrels, and other related Berks County gun-making tools. The exhibit is going to be an interpretation and narrate the historic legacy of gun-making in Berks County from the 18th through the early 20th century. If you have any items, or I should say 19th century, if you have any items from the period 1776 to 1825, referred to as the Golden Age, we'd love to see what you have, guns, anything related to it. I know a couple of the area museums might have a few guns, but we're looking for about 40-plus rifles, and we have a wonderful guest curator for the exhibit. We're going to be going onto a gun show. This is a very, very popular hobby, and obviously, as you can imagine, it's a little pricey with period long rifles. And at the same time, the Daniel Boone Homestead will be doing gun-making displays, and they're also to be doing a rifle shoot, and there's some other rifle shoots that might occur at the same time period this fall.
That's right. On the Heritage Day, which is October 18th of next year, Heritage Day, we will be having a number of gunsmithing demonstrations. And over that weekend, we're going to have a live-fire flintlock shoot. We actually have flintlock shoots monthly, throughout the year. But there'll be a big competition that weekend, and we hope to have a lot of different gun-making demonstrations, period flintlock demonstrations.
And we're also hoping to get a hold of, both Jim and I are trying to get a hold of some antique gun-making, long rifle instead of gun, I should say. Long rifle making equipment,
right.
Either for display at your site or at our site.
Correct.
To complement the guns themselves.
Correct. And certainly we want to work together in promoting each other, promoting
Certainly.
the exhibit and promoting the activity at Boone. On Heritage Day, we do other things as well, domestic crafts and various trades demonstrations, other living history demonstrations as well. One of the things that we do is certainly interpret Daniel Boone, but we also interpret the history of the Ole Valley in the 18th and early 19th century. And so we talk about a lot of different things relating to Boone and other families who lived on site.
Sure.
Mixture of German and English settlers in the area. You know, November 1st, rather, which is a Sunday, we'll be commemorating Danny Boone's birth on site. And again, his real birthday is November 2nd or October 22nd, depending which calendar you use.
Play the calendar right. You could have a celebration on each of the 3 days.
We would like to do an actual symposium on Daniel Boone Saturday, November 7th. So we're working on bringing in some nationally known scholars to the area for a one-day symposium on Danny Boone's life. And of course, we also, you know, we're kind of as far as wrapping up the year's schedule, we also do a good Christmas program, which is December 7th, 2009. Viewers can access more information on the homestead and all of our events at our website. Everybody has a website, which is www.danielboonehomestead.org. Remember, O-R-G. All right. And we have a lot of other information on other events and our daily schedule. And of course, those who are familiar with the homestead know that we're more than historic buildings. We do have 7 historic buildings, but we include 579 acres of land in Exeter Township, and we have miles of trails and picnic areas and youth camping activities and all kinds of things, in addition to all the many historic and programs, school programs, talks, lectures. And I don't know how your events have been going at the Historical Society attendance-wise, but we've had a tremendous response from the public to our programs. I think maybe people are looking to do things a little closer to home.
Certainly. We've had a wonderful attendance at our first Saturday programs. Our most recent first Saturday program was the opening for our World War I and World War II in the Home Front exhibit. And we had a tremendous opening. It was a good thing it was a nice warm day because we had people standing in the doorways, even standing outside, to look inside to see the program because the room was that full. But I think certainly more and more that is the case. People are staying more close to home and seeing what's in their neighborhood.
Sure.
And certainly everybody could benefit from that.
Absolutely.
Sure.
And you know, I'm really thankful for how the people of Berks County have been coming out and attending our programs and events. We had a Charter Day was an open house program in early March, and March 8th, and we had about 800 people who came out. And
great.
Our talks and lectures, we had a couple of women's history roundtables in March, which were standing room only, and so the public is really responding, and I really thank the public for responding and coming out. We're a state historic site. We're here to serve, everybody in Pennsylvania, visitors and tourists and local residents, and we really want them to come out and take advantage of what we have.
Certainly. Well, thank you very much, Jim. I appreciate you coming on the show this evening. If you want to stay for...
Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah.
Sure.
Thank
stay
you.
for the rest of it. I brought along some treasures of my own. Oh, just to review the gun exhibit. And while you're having a look at the stuff there on the graphics camera, the gun exhibit is tentatively scheduled for September 2009 through either late December or early to mid-January of 2010. And like we said, if you have anything from that particular time period, 1766 to 1825, please give me a call. It's never too early to give me a call, as we like to plan these exhibits beforehand to see what's out there. And we never really know what's out there until we make a pitch just like this. But my phone number is 610-375-4375. Or you could also email me through the website. My email address is j.blay, B-L-A-Y, @berkshistory, all one word, .org. So I'm looking forward to the exhibit, and I'm very, very happy to be doing a collaborative effort with you and the Danny Boone Homestead. Thank you, Jim. Brought a couple little neat things along with me this evening before we get into the new round of Do You Know questions. Jim maybe recognize this as a 75 caliber shell, but this item on the table here...
Millimeter.
Millimeter, I'm sorry. 75 caliber would be grossly inaccurate. This is a shell from World War I collected by a soldier from Berks County. As you can see, if you want to keep the camera there, I'll sort of see you can look inside. The fuse is still there. It's a little dark, but it's kind of interesting. He took a military shell that was fired in the Argonne Forest, which was basically the last major offensive of World War I. It lasted from September, I want to say mid to late September 1918, all the way to Armistice Day, November 11th, and it was the bloodiest campaign, as I understand it, of the entire war. You can see on the side of the shell it says France 1918, and there's a flower there on the side. Kind of neat how they took a implement of destruction, shall we say, and turned it into a utilitarian item, basically intended as a flower vase. And if you look on the bottom, maybe Jim can have a look too. He might be able to tell us a little bit. I'm not.
Yeah,
that well.
75.
Yeah, it's a 75. It's a USA shell. It says MGM 701. It's certainly USA, but it certainly says 75. So that's indeed a shell there. But we have about 25,000 items in the collection. I usually don't spend too much time finding an item for the collection. I could just grab something off the shelf I could bring. I don't know. I figured it out sometime. I could bring dozens of items to the show, and it'd still take eons. But we have an amazing collection of items, so you never know quite what we have, and it's always a pleasure to share it with a researcher or a student or somebody just having a look at our regular displays or taking them into the back. So I'm happy to share it. Let's have a look at our two new trivia questions here on the laptop. It's a second section of Do You Know? This is a true Do You Know? I honestly do not know the answers myself. We have a wonderful painting collection, but we unfortunately have a few portraits that as scholarship evolves and as time evolves, who they are, we think we know sometimes who people are, but then sometimes people tell us, well, maybe not quite. These are two portraits believed to be a husband and wife. It was originally thought to be a local judge, but now we're not quite sure who they are. So tonight's trivia question, or as you sit down on the computer or look at the show some other time, if you know the answer to who these people are, I'd be very, very happy to know. These are actually on display down at the Hendel House, down in the lobby of the Hendel House. Anybody down there might recognize them. The 6127A, that's actually the object number. The gentleman, there we go. The gentleman, I think that was believed to be Judge Spade, who was a Berks County resident, but unfortunately, we don't have any confirmation on that, and there's been some doubt raised to whether or not that's actually them. So your best guess is mine, unfortunately. There's the husband, and this is the wife. The trivia, if you were able to get either of those or both of those, we have some new trivia, a new trivia item for our contest tonight. If you have a chance to call us tonight at 378-0426, or at the Historical Society, if you're viewing the show back in playback, either on the computer or on the TV. Our trivia prizes last week were a set of 4 hats. You get to pick the color: white, navy blue, or khaki, or red for our Reading 175 anniversary hats here. And we also have a couple new items here. There's the hats. We just got these in. These were in our gift shop. Maybe it's just better to leave this on the table if you want to have a look at that. That's a new mug with our logo on the side. The building in the center is, of course, the original courthouse, which was at 5th and Penn, the county courthouse at 5th and Penn. So if you're able to get our 2 trivia questions tonight, you have your choice of the 4 hats, the mug, or we also have a book here on the history and government of Berks County, Pennsylvania. So good luck, and if you have a question, please let me know. I have a few slides here just to finish up the reading time, unless you want to talk about some more upcoming events, Jim. You're welcome to if you like.
Go right ahead.
Okay. Is there anything else you can think of, Kim? Okay. I have a few slides here on the computer. Let me cue it up here. Again, this is from when we bring up the slideshow. Again, we'll be putting these slideshows on the internet, the slideshows from our rarity exhibit up on the internet, so you can page through them. We also want to do this with our beer and pretzels, because we came up with a wonderful selection of Reading Eagle negatives from Sunshine and Reading Beer from our beer and pretzel exhibit. You might have remembered that from a couple of years ago now. That sort of kicked off our recent run of very popular exhibits, the rarity exhibit, the tools exhibit, and also the war exhibit. This is a vehicle. They actually use this to inspect the railroad tracks around the area. This is just off of the bypass, just off of Wyomissing Boulevard. This is actually called a high rail. Yes, it's indeed a pickup truck. They have special wheels on the front and back, so they can go on the city streets as well. But it works just like a regular highway vehicle when they're not inspecting the rails. Some of you might recognize this. Do you recognize this scene at all, Jim? You've probably been there past many times.
Oh, I have, yeah.
Kim might recognize it. It's, I'll give you a clue. You're looking west.
Well, that helps.
Anything, Jim?
Nope.
Okay.
Give a bigger clue.
It's right near the VF outlets.
Oh.
Oh, you're on the bridge?
Yes,
Park,
I
yeah.
believe this is this Park Road? Yeah,
Park
this is
Road,
Park Road,
yeah.
just looking
Yeah.
west here.
Sure.
The train on the right-hand side, that's headed out towards Harrisburg. The two empty tracks on the left-hand side, that's the original route that would lead across that big bridge, some of the Lebanon Valley line into Reading. So this is just looking west of the Park Road Bridge there. I was off the street, so I was on the sidewalk there. There's a number of quarries. Not many people realize that down towards Gibraltar and down towards Birdsboro, but there's a section of road that goes between Reading and Birdsboro to serve the two quarries down there. There's also a feed mill down there. They get a lot of stone down there. I'm not sure how they mine the stone down there. I almost think they might dynamite it, because I swear I hear some rumbling from time to time.
Yeah. Yeah, they do. They do.
They do? Okay. I believe that's H&K, Haynes and Kibble House, and also Dyer's Quarry. There used to be a third one down there, but that is also I think that's part of French Creek State Park now.
The quarry that's off limits.
Yeah, that's all flooded now.
Yes, it is, yeah.
I think that was part of the original Dyer's Quarry. I'm not sure.
Yes.
The section of the road here, they call it the Turkey Path. I've never heard the origination of that, but this is a stone train on the Turkey Path. This is another location that's probably you might recognize as soon as you hear what it is. Any clues? Any guesses? This is actually just off of Wyomissing Boulevard again, but looking the other way from that other shot. This is actually sort of looking to the southeast. Wyomissing Boulevard, you can see a bridge. Let's see if I have my mouse pointer right here. Wyomissing Boulevard is actually right under the bridge here. The West Shore bypass will be over to your left-hand side, but you can't see it in this view. This is actually a trash train headed out of New Jersey through Reading and on towards Harrisburg. The containers are full of trash, and I actually took this during the summer. I think it was a Sunday morning. You can imagine how stinky.
Are you going to tell me what they're going to do with the trash when they get to Harrisburg?
It goes on to somewhere else. I've heard there's a number of places out, like in Ohio, or maybe in western Pennsylvania, or even down south, that are basically trash dumping grounds. Especially that since some of the big dumps around New York City have closed, some of the roads are making some good money on moving trash out of the area. You can see these are old shipping containers that would have held TVs or whatever else from the east, but they've had their tops chopped off and they've just been tarped over. But the roads are actually making a fair good decent amount of money on the trash trains, believe it or not, moving trash trains out of New Jersey. The exhibit was on the 175th anniversary of the Reading Railroad, and there still is some equipment marked for the Reading Road. This is RDG, which is what they call the reporting marks for the Reading Road, so some of the equipment is still around. This is a section of a container train. This is actually another location that just off the beaten path that some people might recognize. This is just taken just up in just north of the city, right off 61 there. A lot of these container trains, you might have seen them blocking your way as you're trying to get somewhere in a hurry. A lot of these containers, they are able to go by ship, truck, or train. These are probably about 40 or 48-foot containers here, but they basically revitalized railroad service throughout the area, and these are the most popular trains. They've even eclipsed the popularity of the boxcar. But you can put just about anything in a container. You can see the two doors on the right-hand side there, but they're called double stacks because it's a double stack container, and you can see how they put the other container, which is the same height, towards the bottom and lower the floor of the car, that they have more clearances. You might not think that's too steady, but I heard of a study once. They set up a full china and glassware service inside one of those containers and set it across the country to see if it would make it, and it made it reasonably intact. And the British Broadcasting Company last year sponsored a sort of a sighting contest. They sent a container around the world, including up through Reading, I believe, to Allentown, of products being shipped around the world. But that's the way that a lot of stuff is moving around the world these days. The Union Pacific, of course, they're out west. This is a train coming up through Temple here on its way north towards Allentown. It was taken a couple of years ago. This is a really cool night shot just off the just off of Penn Ave there. If you look in the distance here beyond the signals, this is just after a storm, so the clouds are pretty neat here too. This is actually the city of Reading just beyond. This is looking east towards Reading, over in Wyomissing. This is just down in Strasburg. Looks like we have room for just one more slide here. This is actually taken at the Rad Museum down in Strasburg, which is another PHMC site,
Yes.
just as Daniel Boone is. What's the total number of PHMC sites in the Commonwealth? Do you remember,
About
Jim?
25.
About 25, okay.
Fully operated sites, yes.
This site is one of the older sites. I'm not sure exactly what it dates to, maybe the 72, but they have a wonderful collection of rolling stock, including this Reading locomotive, which served actually in the Reading shops for a number of years, servicing locomotives around. It actually survived for a very long period of time because the amount it weighed, they classified who ran an engine based on the amount, how heavy the locomotive was in pounds. So only one person ran this back and forth, and this was a pretty well-known locomotive, but you can see it today down in Strasburg. But looks like we're out of time here. So remember, tell your family and your friends and your neighbors about our show, which is on live the first Wednesday of each month at 7 o'clock. I'd like to thank very much Kim Richards for joining me this evening, and also Jim Lewers, and also Carol Toomey. Thank you very much, Jim. Thank you, Kim.
Thank you very much.
I'm Josh Blaine. It was very wonderful to be with you. Please join us again on Wednesday, May 6, 2009 at 7 o'clock. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.
The Historical Society on BCTV is supported in part by the Highlands at Wyomissing.